think anybody else going to forget.
ESL One Hamburg is brought to you in part by Intel, Mercedes-Benz, Vodafone, DHL, Mountain Dew Amp Gain Fuel, Asus Republic of Gamers, Pay Safeguard, and Euronics.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to ESL One Hamburg 2019, powered by Intel, here on the C-Stream from the Joint Dota studio in Berlin, and almost ready to get underway with the action. We have returned for the final day of the group stage, where we will have some people looking gleefully happy and some people with tears in their eyes on the brink of elimination. And we've got some hot series ahead of us. That's right. Killer Pigeon here, my boy Liz. He's looking confident, he's looking ready, because we've got someone we saw yesterday that I'd say it was like watching an art form, right? Vici Gaming versus possibly the most entertaining thing to watch here in the whole of the Hamburg group stage, which is the pandas. Because
the pandas. Are they fighting pandas?
I think we're calling them Panda S now because it's easier, right?
Panda S.
They have updated their names because we've got a draft on the screen which has just begun. And you can see they have adjusted their tag now. They finally got updated. It is now MV Face with Fighting Panda S.
Panda S? Alright, Vici Gaming versus Panda S right here. We did see Envy play yesterday together with his boys. And was it yesterday or the day before?
We got them on day one. We got overloaded on Envy.
They had some, yeah, we got really overloaded on Envy, but it's always fun, you know. This guy, there's 50-50 for a reason. And we got it all in that first day. He was missing Chronos, he was hitting Chronos, he was carrying out of his mind, dodging Chronos with Omni Slash, and then he was just feeding it at the same time. So always fun to watch him play, and when he's surrounded by such capable players, so when he's surrounded by AUY 2000, like, we're in for a show, definitely.
Aoi especially, like, you already saw what he's done there, Liz. He's like, okay, we need to win this one. So 50-50 won't do it. We'll ban out the Void. No risk to you, no risk to anyone else. But we do see a Shaker. I feel we barely get to see this here. I think for us casting, this might be the first Shaker game we've seen. I know there's been a few, especially from TNC and I believe Liquid.
Yeah, there has been some banned Shakers in the series that we have watched, but yeah, I believe this is the first Shaker that we'll cast here. Yeah. Right?
I love to see him. You know how I feel, Liz. This is possibly my favorite hero to get to cast.
I mean, when you look at Clock being banned out, it makes sense that he's banned out if you want to pick a Shaker, as Clock is a hero that's really good versus him, and also a hero that you never ban out right now. Like, why would you ban Clock? He's really not in the best spot.
No. It also may be a Chinese-specific thing. Neither of us caught too much of the inner Chinese leagues, but I know that they run their own metas, and Clockwork has always been this in-and-out shifter there, whereas it feels like in the West it kind of died off and has stayed died off for a long time, right?
He died ages ago. Like, there's moss on his grave, on his tombstone.
It's so long ago that Bone 7 is the last Clockwork we can recall in our minds.
Like Clockwork, but he has been buffed a few times in a row, and most importantly, he got that battery assault buff, which doesn't need that wind-up time. You don't have to stop for a millisecond for it to start. You can just run and it instantly activates. In any case, it is good versus Earthshaker, and fighting Panda S, they go with Abaddon and Lash. Abaddon, definitely, I understand, it's one of the best heroes right now when it comes to sustain, and Lash just gives you a lot of damage. Can be that is very flexible when it comes to laning, can be your midder, offlaner, support, so I like their opening. Vici Gaming though morphling in the first stage.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit more of this as it goes. Well, is this going to end up being the secret pick of this tournament? Because it feels like we've been seeing more and more of it as the day goes on, and it has looked fairly scary. I believe you had a game yesterday you got to cast Nomad, where it was brutalizing the enemy team by the late game, like 60 minutes.
It was Mickey on Alliance brutalizing people with his morphling. but it was because he played versus a gyrocopter, and I'm surprised they banned out gyrocopter. However, what Vici Gaming is doing here is the Earthshaker plus Morphling Aghanims.
Yes.
So basically, it's Morphling with the attacks, turning into the Shaker, gets like, I don't know, crazy amount of spell range, and then you use that totem, you get what, 300, 400 damage. Later on in the game, I've seen Morphlings with plus 1200 HP.
Just build a
1200
Daedalus.
damage.
Murder one person, right?
Exactly. You just jump on someone as Shaker, you hit them once and they're dead. So this is a scary combo to play against, but I have seen teams lose against it. Yesterday we cast a TNC that's doing great. TNC is just amazing right now, and they played Morphling plus Shaker, and they have won with it versus one team, and then they let that go through. They play against it, and they also win. So Earthshaker and Morphling, it is just a stupid combination. That's basically No Tail's words. Like on Dream League, he just called it.
I think a lot of players would refer it like that.
It's just stupid when a hero jumps on you and takes 100% of your HP with one right click. That's something's wrong there.
Pure
However,
anarchy.
yeah, we have a Rubicon Ogre.
We do. And the thing about these two is I'm surprised somewhat by the Ogre coming out just because this isn't an IP. I know that the PPD is in love with this hero. They don't really have anything that uses it yet. However, no, that's really not what I'm looking for, Liz, right? Because this guy's got loads of attack speed now since the change.
Yeah, you don't really benefit too much from Bloodlust. However, Bloodseeker gets banned out all the time, and this hero is in a really good spot. If you want to win your pubs, maybe it's time to start spamming this Bloodseeker. You ban out some nuker such as Lina or something similar, and you just roll out of control with Bloodseeker. Good point though, when it comes to Ogre Magi, it's not he doesn't really Bloodlust Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker is already crazy enough for blood.
And also, the way you synergize with Leshrac, that hero is already so fast, so you're not benefiting him. Is this maybe, could we see some sort of cheesy Abaddon Ogre lane, where you just get the passive constantly and harass your opponent out?
It's possible, I think. These two heroes could run you down and just right-click you to that. Even if you're a morph and you start morphing, you have to just run away from these two beasts. But we'll see the way they lane. I think Ogre plus Bloodseeker is also good when it comes to the laning stage, as Ogre can protect the Bloodseeker.
You just harass like crazy, right?
Yeah, Bloodseeker has one issue, is he needs to have a good start so that he can dominate in the mid game. If he doesn't get a good start, things can be a little bit difficult for him.
Nice. The other thing to highlight about the Bloodseeker here is we just mentioned the Shaker Morphling combo, and if there's anything that's going to ruin that shenanigans of jumping around the Enchant Tome, it's going to be some good old ruptures. So maybe the Seeker looks towards an Aghanims as the second or third item this game?
It wouldn't be that bad. The item is definitely good on Bloodseeker, but maybe later on in the match, right? Because it depends what they last pick.
It depends on their timing, right?
On their timings and on their last pick, because you have to itemize accordingly to your gameplay, right? And if you get an Aghanims, but your Bloodseeker is supposed to be the majority of your right-click damage, then it doesn't really pan out well for you.
Although then again, MV has been shown to do things differently. I recall he done the Aghanims as it was a second or third item, I think, on Void.
So I remember Envy with Pipe Drow Rangers, Pipe Slark, you know, so...
Blink Dagger on every carry imaginable.
You never know what to expect.
Hey, after TNC's Gyro Blink Dagger Kaya, anything could happen today. And we actually get more of them later. But before that, we get the Mysteries of Envy. The Lich is going to come out, though. This is all-in Morphling draft so far from Vici.
Vici Gaming going with Lich plus Rubik as support duo. We don't see a lot of Lich. Here and there, a little bit, but not really picked way too often. Definitely... Lich plus Morphling used to be one of the dual lanes that was played a lot on mid lane, actually, not on safe lane. But that's back when Lich could eat creeps.
Yep.
And you would basically just put Morphling plus Lich on mid. You would eat creeps, you would give the shield to Morph, and he would just dominate the living hell out of anyone that's playing against you.
And you'd have, like, what? You'd have Tiny Io maybe on the other side, or you'd have Queen of Pain, Undying.
Yeah.
That was the time of the dual lane mids. Good lord. Thank God we moved past that. Yeah, actually, yes. And how do you feel about the nature of mid? Because it feels like it's in its own vacuum right now. It is the true 1v1, which I know Valve likes this idea, and I know a lot of people love this idea that we get to talk about Sumail or people like, or these people who are going to win those one-on-ones. But does it feel a little bit too disconnected from the rest of the map to you?
It depends on the player, I think. If you remember yesterday, the way Ori played, just This kind of player just wants to rotate a lot, just wants to be active, and before minute 8, suddenly he's connecting left, right, and center. Top lane, bottom lane, doesn't matter.
It's true. It kind of feels like a switch around where now it's on use the mid to rotate if your lane goes wrong, as opposed to the supports fixing your lane. And we will see a ban on the Lina. Just make sure Ori doesn't get that. Instead, he gets the Shadow Fiend. Now, this is a hero. I feel like every time we see this, we get this mixed feelings, right? Because usually it does well in the lane. There's opportunities to outplay. Does it feel like once you end the lane, there's a question mark on what you do next?
Question mark on what your itemization is, and question mark on what the plan around SF is. If you remember 7-8 months ago when Shadow Fiend was top pick of the meta, it's because they had a really good idea about what they're supposed to do around him. He buys that fast mech with Greaves, and then you just start pushing, right? Shadow Fiend right now is in a position in which you can't really know for sure which item build he's going to go for. Is it utility? Is it some use that we saw yesterday? Is it some right-click damage? Like, his right-click damage and pick-off potential, they're still there, but they're not as strong like they used to be, right?
Yeah. You could get pummeled if you build a Yules in this game as well, right? It's free setup for Leshrac, so you can never use it defensively. You lose half your value.
Utility is probably the best, I think, for this game, because they'll have to create space for this Morphling to get his Aghanims, and perhaps they can play as 4 until that happens. By the way, okay, TA is definitely a hero that can deal pretty well with Shadow Fiend, but yesterday we saw actually the same matchup and SF1.
That was GPK, right? He ran over his opponent, although Gambit did lose that game due to the other lanes. And we have got a very skilled mid here.
That set on SF looks so sick.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
That looks
The
so
gold
sick.
trims, it black and gold, okay?
I love it.
It just makes you look so pimpin'. All the MMORPG players out there, whenever they got their own guild and they started to make their own brand, everyone's done the gold and black at some point. It's the easiest to get right. Although at the same time, Rubik has got that hat. All right, now we are Valve fanboys. You gotta love them hats. But we have got the Mercedes MVP clip to play before we get too much into to the cosmetics. Maybe you're a fan of MVP votes based on the cosmetics. Who knows? But you need the info first. And there we go. You got your info, and we've got our game ready to get underway. I don't know. I wouldn't give the cosmetic MVP to Leshrac. I mean, that's just anyone who's bought a compendium, right?
Yeah, just some horns on him. Rubik does definitely have a good hat.
He is big pimpin', and the gold stuff as well.
Master, right? That's the set. It looks sick. It looks sick. What? This FB's lineup definitely does have a lot of potential. We have Brawl on the mid lane with TA, and we'll see if SF starts with raises. Yeah, he started with raises. It's usually something that you do versus the TA. Lash, Snaking, Abaddon, and Ogre are going towards the top lane.
Yeah, just probe for that first kill. It's okay to do this right at the start. Just don't commit too hard to the tri lanes. Usually you see the other way around, where if you are going to go tri lane, it's not around your off laner at the moment.
Yeah, Moon Meander, he started with a really aggressive build. You have the Orb of Venom and the Stout Shield. Probably the passive is the next thing that he's going to take, and then you just run after the Morphling or whoever is close enough. I remember the good old days as well. I mean, it's the same days now. You just buy Orb of Venom on Abaddon and you run someone down. Axe literally can't stand an Abaddon right now. If you have these two heroes, one support plus Abba chasing you down with Orb of Venom, it's just such a difficult thing to deal with.
People do it a lot with the Legion as well. Even easier hero. Just any hero that has a lot of movement speed, right, is the big key. And Abaddon plus Legion amongst, what? I want to say top 10 in terms of movement speed now? Easily. Meanwhile, bot lane, your AC, Vici, they do aggress on the runes a little bit. And Bloodseeker will dodge it as well.
Moon Meander taking top bounty rune, Snaking taking the other, so casual 2 for 2. We'll see a tri-lane right now, at least happening from Vici Gaming on the bottom lane. I think this is right from them, but most likely someone will have to go and help out the Morphling. That's Lich.
Yeah, there's arguments that actually both these lanes are volatile for first blood, right? A Morphling low level can get caught out, but at the same time, you're a Bloodseeker against a Shaker. If he does get around the side, maybe he punishes you, but because it is a core Shaker, it's unlikely he's going to move out the lane for the Fissures. So things will just settle down to 2-1-2s. No kill opportunity just yet. Snaking with the first splitter for the game. It's okay, it's just recalibrating them.
Lich has 3 mangoes, 5 tangos, a lot of regen on him, so he's able to spam out his nukes and also stay relatively healthy.
Stun.
Morphling, however,
They don't want to die for it. They haven't got the creep wave there. In the mid lane, in the meantime, we will see Ori start the raise. It just seems to be the go-to for Shadow Fiends now. They've forgotten what this passive is until level 2.
it's safer. It's safer to start with raises, get your level 2, than it is to start with your passive. Especially versus a TA. She loves that first level.
Yeah. You could have gone for the cheese combo, the clockwork, right? But they were actually the ones who banned it out in the first phase, if you remember. So not a possibility. Instead, they'll be going for the core Shaker. I just always love to see it, though. The real question is, do we get a greedy Shaker this game? Do you look at the timings on average for these heroes? Do you think you could get away with rushing an Ags, or is this definitely a Blink type game first?
Well, we'll see. He's going Tranquil Soul Ring. Usually that's indicative of a Blink. When you're going for Ags, you want... Not always, it's not necessary, but getting Power Treads is really good if you're going for Ags, because you're so tanky in the mid game, and you can just...
You just bulk up and run at people.
You just bulk up. You don't have to go for... you don't have to even go for Soul Ring. You go for Magic Wand, and that's about it.
Most definitely true. And usually, you know, that's kind of the thing, is if you are seeing the Shaker go for that, it's really hard to punish him because he's got so much stats and strength.
Then again, a really nice thing that Tranquils bring you is a lot of regen all the time. And when you're fighting against a Bloodseeker, when you're playing against a Bloodseeker, that regen can come in handy to just stop him from getting those thirst stacks.
Things actually chilled out. No first blood just yet, and these lanes are, all in all, fairly even. I say Eurus is trailing behind a little bit. The Shaker, you expect him to be a few behind the Bloodseeker like this, especially with the Ogre harassing them out. But maybe the biggest surprise, how much pressure is on Morphling, and actually the stun connects. He might be in a bit of trouble. Frost Armor should protect, but they're going to keep hitting. With the Diabolic Edict only being shared behind them, between them and not the creeps, Eurus barely gets out alive.
Barely gets out alive, but also he's giving a lot of attack speed to the Bloodseeker on the bottom lane, who has that Thirst level 2 now. Actually interesting that he went for Thirst level 2 instead of Blood Ride, but it's a bit more mana on level 2, so...
He's still got a lot of regen, right? You know, you got 4 tangos. You don't feel like you're in a rush to get Blood Rage, and if you know your other lanes are going to be aggressive, you get
Blood Ride, Blood Ride, that's what I was expecting.
Yeah,
Blood Rage you don't even get on level 3.
I think you get 1 point by 6, right? Just because eventually you will run out of tangos.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I guess because they know so much pressure in the top lane, right? You get more value out of that passive, arguably. Especially if you don't think Aoi is going to be able to hold them in place long enough.
Snaking is being chased by DY. And there we
go.
That's the first blood.
Yeah. Nicely done by DY. Yeah, he is all out of regen now, though. No mangoes left.
That's not really a kill that you expect to see happening. Lich killing a Leshrac in the laning stage, but DY, man, he had so many mangoes and so many tangos to work with. None remaining, though.
And you're just being pressured again. Mumiander's getting more or less everything he wants in this lane. It is a little bit of an awkward moment when DY gets that kill. But it was far away from the lane, right? So there was no benefits for the Morphling in it.
Yeah, Morphling is still being pressured. 11 CS, 19 on Abaddon. Definitely.
But Brau got a haste rune. He's going to come in. Blood Right. Will silence under 1. And they could move across for Zhao Yu, but Rubik is wasting a lot of their time. Well done by him.
Braille is actually not winning this mid lane. Ori is doing quite well. So that one extra rotation to give him some extra gold could come in handy.
It's what we talked about, right? Like, we usually saw Ori doing this yesterday. TA, not really a hero renowned for doing that too often, but if you do get that haste rune, it opens up any door possible. I think for Pandas, as you shift out this laning phase over the next 5 minutes, you're probably focusing around the Abaddon, trying to rotate top as soon as possible to take that tower, right? Especially when you consider Leshrac is in this lane.
Oh, look at that. Morphling, he's just suffering so much on the lane. He does have 16 CS, still finding his farm. And they're on a timer. If you are fighting Panda S, you're definitely on a timer. In your mind, you're just imagining that Morphling with Aghanim's jumping on you. And so,
But for the moment, they're content. They know that they actually spike sooner, right? This is the power of the TA. You get your Deso, your Blink, and you're basically ready to do anything, whether it's Roche or high ground. And Bloodseeker definitely fits in with those timings.
definitely. Same goes for Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker just comes into play much earlier. Shaker comes into play there with the Ogre.
And Envy just has to walk away. This is kind of the crux of the Bloodseeker. While the Ogre is tanky, the Blood doesn't have any way to defend him.
And if you click on Envy, he already has his mind set on which items he needs. Bassi, Hood, Radiance.
This could link up pretty well the timings, right? Because by the time you have a Radiance, arguably TA should have Deso plus Blink. Now they're going to look for a kill to Xiao Yu. Chasing him down with Silence Out. Envy might better get this, but there's a lift coming off cooldown right now. And PYW, no. They could have dragged him under tower, right, and stunned him.
Yeah, it was an option, definitely. But they decide not to. Also, the only reason, well, one of the reasons why Shaker survives there is Rubik with the Fade Bolt. He Fade Bolts the Bloodseeker, and Bloodseeker loses so much damage that he just couldn't do enough to the Earthshaker.
Now Rubik is waiting around the mid lane.
Top lane, Moon.
Because they have gone up there with the rotation. They get rid of Moon Meander, and Ori will get back to mid in time. PYW the lift, Dragon one back, but Bra has a trap down to try and protect himself, so he'll turn around and just keep farming. However, I'm getting a little bit scared here, Liz. 52-16, and he's just got himself a kill on Moon, who we just said was doing so well in his lane. Ori's out of control.
Yeah, Shadowfiend. Ori is out of control almost every single game we watched.
This is true.
This guy just does not fail in the laning stage, at least. He wins his lanes, and even after winning the lane, he goes and rotates and gets a couple of kills, and his rotations are on point too. I'm just looking forward to seeing what items he's going to get.
Xiao Yu, save again from PYW. The Fissure blocks them in, actually. So they have to go deeper. The stun's going to come out. They'll look on to Xiao Yu, but he's got the double stun coming out. And now they can't catch him. They're in trouble. PYW can just casually right-click them down. He's got the Fade Bolt coming off cooldown, and Envy needs to run for the high hills. And Xiao Yu should be safe here. Aoi, however, goes in. Okay, that was greedy from Xiao Yu. And now Aoi, he might die for it. Nope, got the stick.
One more hit.
PYW, he needs to. Now he needs another. Now he needs another. Oh no, he gets it. Okay, he's 2 HP out of living there.
I mean, he has Windlace and Boots there on Rubik, and he just gets him. But Bloodseeker, most importantly, does get away. Envy manages to find a way through the creep wave and goes around the tower.
After baiting himself in a little bit hard. He has got 1,000 gold on him as well. He just picked up the Bassi. He can get the extra mag resistance in the cloak, and then I would expect them to start diving even harder in this lane, right? Especially pre-6.
Yeah, Lich was about to port mid to try and defend it a little bit, but couldn't really, as Leshrac just takes it with Diabolic Edict level 3, plus the TA.
We were just saying that there's a concern of Ori getting out of control, but look at Brow's net worth and the fact he got the tower pre-10 minutes.
Yeah, Brow is doing pretty well. He did, like, his laning stage wasn't stellar versus SF. It's not, he didn't want it CS-wise, but he also made a couple of rotations. And those rotations did work for him. So right now he's sitting on 1,000 gold, together what he's got, and moving towards Desolator.
And now SF isn't happy with the nature of things. Yes, he has a net worth lead, but he wants a few more kills. The problem is he was spotted out by the Obs. Does get the G-ward at least. He might actually still go back in.
Yeah, it's all about pressuring Bloodseeker and this tier 1 on the bottom lane. Can they do it? Let's see.
He's going to try. Oh, no, the Fissure. Wrong side. Lift him back. Echo slam to make sure he can't throw out the blood right, and now he can't save him.
Yeah, usually that Fissure isn't great because he's on the other side, but when you have Rubik, he just lifts you, tosses you on the right one, and you die. Envy does fall there in the end, and Ori makes another good rotation.
So what you're saying is you pick the Rubik if you don't trust the Shaker. Because you can always fix what you did wrong.
Yeah, however, Moon is doing really well on the top lane. He already took down that tier 1. Mid tier 1 is also dead. And
DOI is dead. One more hit needed. Brawl.
Trap.
He's got the trap, but he doesn't need it.
Yeah, he could have done it with trap as well, but why do it when
top.
you right click?
They're just right-clicking Eurus down. He does have the waveform, so he'll be able to get away, but Morphling is still struggling to find a game. He's got decent net worth, but they are not letting up on this pressure. And you can already see the response, right? They have to TP these heroes here. Heroes that you want to be on that Bloodseeker you just talked about are having to respond to the aggression on your Morphling instead.
Yeah, because if you look at the map, they have taken no objectives so far. Vici Gaming, they have this one ward behind the tier 1 on the bottom lane, which is indicative of the fact that they want to go for the tier 1, but they haven't been successful at it so far.
Instead, they're going for you, Xiao Yu. Ruptured up, Blood right, sidesteps it, Chain Frost. Aoi will sidestep that as well so it doesn't bounce, but Xiao Yu just trying to buy some time. Definite inevitability right now, as they will bring him down and move away before PYW can do anything about it. Good rotation.
So what, Blood Rage?
Yes.
Yeah, not really what he wanted, but can help out. Maybe you can put it on SF. He farms a bit faster.
That's actually something else we have to look forward to with Panda's draft, right? Blood Rage plus Bloodlust on a TA.
Yeah, this TA is going to be buffed up. Like, Bryle will hit hard. He's not there yet, though. He's building towards Desolator, and Desolator usually just allows you to farm a bit more, a bit faster to get that Blink Dagger. If you get Blink Dagger, you're kind of forced to get pickoffs to farm, to fight actually, and to find pickoffs.
You can farm heroes. It counts.
It counts.
In this type of game, though, once you have the Blood Rage plus the Bloodlust, and you have a Deso, you're probably straight into the Rosh Pit, without a doubt. It's a scary game. And meanwhile, Ori gets a kill in the bot lane.
They're trying to pressure Envy out of this lane, and they're trying to take this tier 1, because this is your first step in taking Radiant map control. If you are Dire, you need to take down the tier 1 so that you can invade further. But yeah, this tower is very healthy.
Yeah, you're 12 minutes in, you've barely put any damage, even a dent into any of these towers. Now with Moon Meander showing up, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, Moon, I think he has full Vlads completed. He just needs the courier.
He has a full stash right now. There's probably things leaking onto the ground at this rate. And they're just buying time perfectly. There's not too many stacks for Brawl, though. That's the one thing maybe Pandas could work on here. Just accelerate further.
They're not making too many stacks, but they're taking objectives. Look at top. Tier 2 has fallen as well. Tier 1 and Tier 2. On mid lane, Tier 1 as well. So he's getting a lot of gold out of that.
And now, where is Moon Meander of all places? The bot lane, where there's even more towers that need taking.
Yeah. He's just mirroring the movements of Vici Gaming. If they want to put aggression somewhere, he just goes, and they can't take him down. So they smoke away, and they go towards mid.
Vici wrapping around looking to get aggressive. Once again, focused on Envy, but he knows something is not right. His anime senses are tingling. So he dodges the smoke gank.
That's a good dodge.
Top though. Lane. There's trouble. Eurus waveform. Can they get the hit? No, nope. They looked for the vision for the stun for Aoi, but they put the trap in the wrong place.
He ports towards the bottom lane, where that smoke might connect actually on Moon Meander once again.
There's still a tier 1 tower here though, so you have to catch him away and burst him down fast.
He's very tanky, and he has a point for ult, I believe.
Yep, there it is. Be able to heal up. He steals the Aphotic Shield, drags Moon back, but he's looking healthy. They're still going to chase though, because they did have the Stolen Rupture. So he'll be forced to fight. The Yule's going to be there. Ori, we'll just go for the pop and we'll get the kill. They didn't even try and protect him.
Because they're taking the Dire jungle. You see, like Bryle, he wasn't even thinking about porting. Same goes for everyone else. Moon, he's just creating space.
They're thinking about killing though. Xiao Yu? Okay.
He's a bit difficult. He has Fissure to work with, and you don't have a blink on Bryle, so you can't really get him there. Unless he just steps out of position.
But this is Roche, because that you mentioned that tier 1. But they're so fixated on the side of Vici. They're 14 minutes in, and you might be able to take that. But look who's already in the pit.
Yeah, TA has that Desolator, and she can go straight in. If you're Vici Gaming, you don't have the items that are necessary for you to fight. You don't have that blink on Shaker. Morphling doesn't have... What's he building? Lincolns doesn't have that. Like, these small first items that you need to get on the side of Vici Gaming are just not there yet. Shaker is... SF is the only one with Yules completed. And
does it feel like this game is, for the next 10 minutes, it's all on Shaker's shoulders, right? Because we talk about how SF can feel weird, the items don't always click, and you've got a Morphling going for a Lincolns, right? It just feels like if you don't get godly Echo Slams, because in the next 5 minutes, I think Pandas could be on your high ground, right? You're in this game.
Shaker.
And here's the man himself, the man who needs to get godly Echo Slams, can't even get his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, they're definitely slowing him down. A little bit earlier, when he was farming on the top lane, they move him, they force him away from the creeps and away from his farm, and now they kill him too. It's a really important target that they have just taken down. And he was playing in a really difficult position because if you look at the wards from Vici Gaming, there's one mid, there's one around their triangle, and one in the Radiant jungle. So they don't really have vision on their own side of the map, and Shaker was exactly there.
No, it feels like pandas are doing a great job of manipulating this kind of focus right now for teams around the bot lane. And now they're focusing on Moon Meander. They're going to drag him in as the borrowed time ends, and the lift is there to ensure he can't protect himself. Reinforcements were not there quick enough.
They got him once again.
However, there is a wraparound. Brow's moving in. He doesn't have his Blink Dagger, though. It's in his stash, so they will be able to get out. No price paid for their aggression.
Yeah, they just TP away.
And the smoke won't connect, but there's 2 towers down here at least, so you can start to push this in. And Brow, he still doesn't have the blink coming out. A little bit of miscommunication with the courier by the looks of it, as Aui's coming out.
Yeah, I think you sent that courier back. That's just Aoi messing up a little bit. Maybe Braille didn't put it fast enough.
No. You know, he's a nice guy. He's like, I don't want to be rude, Aoi. Okay, you get what you need, my friend. I know how hard it is to be a +5. One game, one pub game, I had to do it. It was a nightmare.
They had full vision on them moving in. So Vici Gaming, if they want to set up a defense, they can.
Orthotic shield. I'm not sure if it's going to protect him. Lift's going to come out, drags him in, split up off the mark. Shadow Fiend down to RPG. Echo Slam, jump in, gets 2. Nice Requiem follow-up, blows them up straight away. TA dead for 40 seconds. And to think you gave Envy the Aegis, and yet you initiate with Bryle.
Bryle also didn't have Blink Dagger there, so he was just walking in, right? This Blink Dagger from him just got picked up as he was shortly sent towards the fountain. But it's Earthshaker that perfectly read what they were going to do, and he initiates with that, re-initiates with that echo, that is. But they had a good ward. They had a ward around their triangle, around their shrine, and they saw fighting Panda S just moving in, so...
They need some game fuel. Wake up like I just did. Ori, looking for a kill. Snaking, moving away. PYW chases with another steal. Now he's in trouble, though. He should have kept that one and just ran even deeper, because now it makes no difference. He is dead. Ori gets out alive. He is going for the BKB next. He's getting close. You mean what, Envy? Is he cooled out? He's waiting for Eurus. They need some way of stopping him right now. Snaking's going to be too late, though.
A little bit too late. One of the reasons why we saw Bloodseekers pick up Yules long time ago is because of situations such as this one, and because it allows you to set up Blood right. However, you don't really see that item any longer on Bloodseekers. In this particular game, like, he can afford himself to be more of a utility kind or this second carry. TA
just get a basher. Let's be honest.
Exactly. TA can bring the majority of the damage.
So you should be the control. And we already mentioned, you know, Blood Rage is nice on Bloodseeker. It is kind of his own spell, but if it's between him and a hero that doesn't have to worry about the increased damage to yourself for several charges, I think TA wins on priority. So you definitely ran that one, Liz. We'll see if Envy can actually start to pressure onto this tier 2 in the mid. This time he should be frontline and not Brawl. Instead, he's moving with the supports towards bot. They want to kill off Eurus. He doesn't have the Lincolns complete yet.
They definitely do have the damage necessary. Do they have the control? That's only the question. As they
not when they split up like this.
This is the thing. Oh, he doesn't have TP yet, though.
4 seconds. Braille. Yep, they ping it out. The smoke just broke. They know exactly where he is, or roughly.
If he connects, they will know.
They should know right now. It was just doing it, but they didn't have vision. They actually have to go fight. Look at this right now. Shaker, there we go with the Aegis. Now the Requiem follow-up. Envy down to half HP. Lift to control in. The Blood Right might protect him with the Fade Bolt. Nicely positioned by PYW. The BKB means you can't stun up Ori. And as it will run out, he'll move away. Buyback from Envy, though. They still want to fight. Bryle, don't feel too compelled to go in too quickly here, my friend.
Man, if you are fighting Panda S right now, you must be so mad. Like, Morphling just made them go on a wild goose chase.
And TP to basically the same spot after the fight is done. After Envy commits a buyback in the scenario, I'm not even sure there was a turnaround opportunity.
Dies, loses Aegis, dies again, then buybacks. That's like a...
That's a man who doesn't want to die. Or stay dead, at least.
Worst scenario for them.
Oh, they tried to tickle Brow there, a little bit off the mark, though. And now he'll just hide because no one buys sentries in games.
And there's bounty rune spawning, so he expects them to be around this area.
Envy throws out the Rupture, and Does give over the Blood Rage. Brawl moves in though. The side blades through. Echo Slam on a 2. The Chain Frost follow up as well. Envy gets baited in and drags Brawl with him. Brawl will live for the moment. But will he stay that way? It looks like he'll be able to back away. The Chain Frost did not bounce favorably in the end, but Envy gets caught out, and that's the dieback.
That's the dieback indeed, and if you're this Bloodseeker, you aren't feeling good at the moment. You're going towards that Radiance build, but I think it's too late. You see him switching up for the BKB. At least that BKB will allow him to stay alive long enough in these upcoming team fights, but things are not looking good for him as his net worth has just severely dipped.
No, it's just they're neglecting to address the Shaker in this draft so far. And honestly, it almost feels like they're too fixated on the Morphling right now, right?
I don't know what exactly they were thinking about in that exact fight. TA Brawl, he was positioned well behind the enemy lines to backstab them, right? However, they didn't know where the Shaker is. Maybe they expected Vici Gaming to be more focused on the bottom 2 bounty runes, but that wasn't the case, and they should respect the Shaker a little bit more, as that Echo is perfect counter initiation, and he has demonstrated that twice now.
Exactly, twice on the Brawl especially, and his net worth is starting to suffer a little bit because of it. Shadow Fiend has the top spot, and he's building the AC next. He will be a force to be reckoned with at this rate very, very soon. And you have got to consider that Eurus is already halfway towards the Ags. Has the Lincolns to protect him. Soon he's going to be shaken in and out of these fights.
That's a big problem. Unless he uses that Aghanims to morph into Shaker, gets ruptured, and then he
kills himself.
Most likely we will not see a situation such as that.
We will see a smoke though. Vici are moving into their jungle. Want to reclaim the area, and it's going to be a quick exit for Pandas. Aoi, however, what are you doing here, buddy? Wrong neighborhood. Vici stuns him up. Raises, and the final right click with Raze comes out to get Ori the kill.
Hey, you white. Aoi. He falls, but Brawl gets away.
Yeah. Aoi gets an Aoi is the story of the game. You're a POS 5. This is how it works. And Brawl is getting closer to the BKB.
5, man. Always.
You've been there. You understand the pain. Support. It's kind of support brethrens, right? It's like a mid can respect the farming need of a carry. A support, they both understand that it's a necessity to die sometimes.
Sometimes you just fall. Sometimes you take one for the team, and
sometimes you set up a strike here. Snaking. The scans come out. Eurus thinks he's safe here, but this is good patience from Snaking.
Well, he does have that Lincolns to work with. They do have AoE stuns, but it's difficult to actually hit that stun on the Morphling. So
he backs away though. His team isn't prepped for that play. They'll just give up the tower.
It's good that he backed out, as there's obviously a lot of dire heroes just circling around Morphling too.
Yeah, they're starting to reach that point in the game where it's the Morphling show, right? We're going to just play around him, start to push his 5. And it wouldn't be long before Vici start eyeing up Roche. I mean, it's been up for a little bit now, and
Morphling,
Pandas are hesitant to go in. However, in the top lane, they're going in on Mumianda. Vici blocks off his escape. He'll turn around and start fighting. He needs reinforcements, but his team just isn't there. Lift control from PYW will ensure he can't get the silence procs going, and he'll just calm down and back off.
Into the pit they go, though.
It's definitely the right move. They do this so fast. Like, this is the biggest strength for their draft right now.
Brawl with that Desolator, with Blood Rage, with Bloodlust, definitely is easy for him to take down Roshan like this. And if you are Vici Gaming, you aren't ready yet, because your Morphling is 400 gold away from the point booster, which will complete his Aghanims. And because of that, they aren't really... They're fine with giving that Roshan away. You're not super happy about it, however, because that is the cheese too. Aegis cheese, it makes the next team fight much more difficult for Vici Gaming.
And the nature of the item choices will make it much more difficult, because this time around, they've given the Aegis to Brawl, the man who will be jumping in first. Envy has admitted, okay, this time I'll just take the cheese. I know you're going to be the first one in. In the mid lane, first in is Moon Meander. Not willingly for the moment, but you can't prioritize too much of your resources on killing the Abaddon. However,
There we
if you
go.
jump in, there it is. Eurus goes for the kill onto Aoi. He can't move away quick enough. We'll go down to the waveform now. Sinister gains control of Mumiana. Down to half HP. Has to pop the ultimate, but the Yule's going to waste a lot of his borrowed time. And you are running on borrowed time here. As he's going to be followed up with the raise. The lift is there. Echo Slam. Zhao Yu catches two. TA jumps straight into the mess. Didn't even get a chance to BKB. Aegis already gone. Aoi will buy back, but Envy's only just arriving in the fight. BKB. Brawl trying to fire up against him. Has to blink away though. Rupture comes out to Eurus, so Envy now needs to run away from this, but they're going to keep on chasing. The stun follow-up is good. Envy is dead. PYW on the hunt can't find the final kill as Brawl retreats to the south.
Man, it's just the story of these Aghanim Scepters on some heroes. In this particular team fight, Eurus, he just destroys them. Jumps in, takes care of AUI in a matter of seconds. Like, that Ogre is supposed to be tanky, but not when you have an Aghanim Morphling that morphs into Earthshaker, uses Enchant Totem and just blows you up. The way they set up that fight was really good too, because Eurus, he was able to jump in and out and just kite them a little bit, force them to go on high ground, and then TA
And they're still going for more bot. Brawl, he gets found out, can't even get a kill. Actually does get DY with the final touch.
That's something, but are you satisfied if you are Brawl?
Hell no.
Hell no. Like, you don't want to die for a Lich. That's not what you came for.
So far, the story of what Pandas came for is a pummeling from the Shake. I mean, that's the third time he's gotten these ridiculously good Echo Slams. The patience as well, because he caught Brawl pitch perfect as he jumped in for the double Echo.
There's a double damage on Morphling and Flash.
And another death on Snaking. It's getting a bit tough now. 5k net worth lead for Vici. That Aegis, I mean, at least he's got the cheese on Envy, but that wasn't the impact you're expecting to get out of a second Aegis on a TA.
I think Envy just had a rough mid-game. Like, the laning stage wasn't that bad. They zoned him out after a bit when SF rotated in, but he died a bit too many times afterwards. And every single time, I believe, Earthshaker was involved with those echoes or fissure blocks. Ori does find Envy.
Yes.
Envy might just die.
No,
solo.
BKB, Requiem, and Envy, he has to eat the cheese. He won't die, but that feels like a death.
Yeah.
His team's coming in right now, actually. They're seeing if there's going to be a response coming out to try and protect Envy, who's still in the tree line right now. Eurus jumps in on the hunt.
Envy?
Envy's trapped here. There's no escape unless they look the wrong way. They saw him. Ori's running back in. Chain Frost on the side, though. They're controlled up since gates. Echo Slam. Xiao Yu again. The jumping follow-up from Eurus. The stun control is good. That's right. Getting low. Snaking. Trying to heal up the shrine. He's going to stay alive for the moment, though, because he's so tanky. He doesn't have the damage on the Morphling. The follow-up is good. Shake it down. Now Eurus, down to half HP already. Stunned up. Will fall before he can switch back to his original self. And Pandas hold. And they might find more. SF trying to TP out, will just about make it.
At least he makes it, but a really good hold by fighting Panda S. Like, really good fight for them.
And it exposed a potential weakness in Vici's draft, right? We talked about this Morphling and how he'll do all the damage later on. But you know what we saw there, Liz? We saw a full-strength Morphling. We saw no damage follow-up.
Also, the fact is, Shadowfiend was chasing Envy instead of fighting there. And also, Shadowfiend had no BKB as he used the BKB and his ulti earlier. So, a lot of your damage was missing.
Oh, Snake. Well, we know which Possible is having a better game this time around. PYW, Blink Dagger, A for Lens, solo killing his counterpart in this game. Feeling on top of the world.
Definitely feels much better. He's level 18 too.
Ari.
Towards Yules.
Ari has no TP. He has the haste. They're wrapping around. If they hit him with the Rupture, he's in trouble here. Follow-up damage is going to be good. BKB, Ari has to keep on running, but they can just finish him off easily.
Yules to buy himself some more time. But
not enough, though. An unusual mistake from Ori. I mean, he had no TP. This was no news to him. And yet he shows so deep on the map and gets punished for it.
You aren't too worried when you have haste and BKB, right? Even if your TP is on cooldown. So he was thinking he'll be able to just juke them and run away, but that Rupture made it impossible.
No, we said Envy's had a rough mid-game, but he's still in this game, and you have to respect the Rupture.
Yeah.
After all, if there was one thing we said about these drafts when we came out of it, it's that Vici Gaming's Achilles heel is the Rupture. The question is, if you're Envy right now, are you considering Ags at this stage, realizing you're not the damage anymore and that's not your role?
I think you can. Like, you actually can consider items such as that one. But when it comes to fighting Panda S, I think the most important item is this Orchid that's just been picked up by TA. as it will allow you to perhaps take down the Morphling a few times before he gets that Manta. But you need to fight right now. This is your power spike, and that's why they are smoking up towards the top lane.
Back on the push. Moon's like, I haven't had this feeling for a while. Time to club some buildings. And with the Leshrac, that's going to draw some attention. The Shaker does have the Echo Slam, and they're already getting non-flashbacks to the last few fights. So they might feel falsely emboldened by the most recent one where the Echo Slam just wasn't enough.
They force them away. Meanwhile, they are taking the tier 2 on the bottom lane with Morphling.
Noon. Baden, a little bit far forward here. Pretty tanky though. Foddick Shield walks it off, has got the borrowed time, and it will go pop. But Ori's still hunting. Do not go up in his high ground though. This is risky. They're jumping in right now of Eurus. They're going to heal him up to full as a result. Moon Meander can back off. Now, jump in. Ori, BKB, split up, won't be good enough. Use the return. Owie, Echo Slam, only connects on the one. Bannon is low. They're going to follow up, jumping in with Eurus. Will be able to bring down one, or will he? And Foddick Shield keeps him up. Still going to be Rupture going out. Snaking on the side, looking for the stun, but it gets juked out. Bloodright doesn't clip on anyone. Zhao Yu on the high ground. Snaking will look to TP away, but on the other side, a big target found. Bryle down for 85 seconds. And on the other side, no, hanging around still. They didn't manage to get him out. Snaking looked like he escaped, but hangs around too long, and he'll be the final fatality for the side of Panda S.
Even though they held a high ground there, Moon Meander was a bit too far out, and he is so important. He's crucial to their team fighting strengths. However, he loses his ulti on the mid lane, right? He was too far. And then they just kill him off. If there's no Moon, it's very easy to take down everyone else. There is no shield, there is no utility, there's no heals coming from Mist Coil, there's no Solar Crest and Pipe. So a really good start of the fight for Vici Gaming that allowed them to wipe all 4 of them out of the game.
And now look at how quickly they're able to read this base. Morphling's like, this is the time I can be full agi. This is the time your buildings die. They actually might go for a second. Yeah, they're moving for the second lane. They're like 30 seconds without Brow. We're going to try and force that buyback. Lift, Owie, dragged back. Fissure, just the tip tickles. Now the follow-up. Eurus switches over. Waveform through, BKB, Envy, he goes too deep, Morphling, stands up, he's dead, he's gonna go down, 80 seconds dead, they need to get everyone else out alive. Envy with Bloodright to zone the rest away, Rubik goes ever deeper and TP's out safely. Can they get the rest out? It looks like they just about will. RATP, DY, however, has no TP.
No TP,
and no
blink,
life.
Nothing like that, he just falls.
But when he comes back, he now has a gem. He did buy it.
Yep, overall, this Orchid is what we mentioned before, and it came so perfectly on time versus the Morphling. You Orchid him, you rupture him, and he's just gone. He wants to jump in with that Shaker, but if you break the Linken's Orchid him after, he cannot get out. And that was really well played by Ryle and the boys, realizing what they were supposed to do in that situation. And now they have 30 seconds to take down Rosh before Morphling is up.
With a refresher shot. The buyback comes out from Lich. Morph does not want to have to buy back. They'll have to.
He does.
It's going to be too late, though, is the thing. They're still at the Echo Slam, so they have to respect this. Lift has lasted a long time. Ori is pretty deep. Does have BKB. Echo! No! Zhao Yu! Jumps in. 3-man Echo. Follow-up Fissure is making an X on the map, and it's an X that marks the spot where the Pandas will die. Moon Meander dragged in. Borrowed time has ran out. Brawl turns around. Ori down to half HP already. Eurus trying to control the fight for Brawl. He's the one with all the damage. The Rupture coming out onto one, and now Eurus trying to escape. Silenced up as well. He will go down. Morphling. That's going to be the dieback. That's the win condition for them now. Pandas, they can roll over the fight. Lich going to go down. Requiem on the high ground. Bloodseeker controlled up, but it doesn't matter if Envy dies anymore, because the real man in control is Bryle. Chasing in, looking for more. Refraction back up. Sideblades through. PYW, one more hit. So Ori going for the TP out. It's Bo. Oh, just in time. Meld. Just a millisecond too late to get the kill. They minimize casualties, but they're still 90 seconds without a Morphling.
They minimized their casualties, definitely, but they lost the Morphling, like you just said. He died back, and that's Rosh too. Brawl instantly goes into the pit, takes the Aegis Cheese. Refresher Shard is there too for him.
Everything and anything you want, Brawl, because you are the win condition. And a DD to boot. It's time to hit the mid lane, boys.
You can't fight any... You know what the problem is, though? Vici Gaming, they realized that Brawl has Orchid, but they still force these fights. They forced the fights before Morphling had Manta. Most importantly, that bottom lane push is what really did them in. If they didn't push bottom, if they continued farming until he has Manta, then suddenly this Orchid isn't as scary, and they don't get a chance to kill off Morphling and go into the pit the way they just did.
You know what the really scary part here is, Liz? I was going to mention TA will bounce back and Vici's on the time, or is on the clock. They just took a fight before you even got Melbash. What happens when you get Melbash on this hero that is just amped and juiced beyond all belief?
And also Hex that he's buying. Like the next item for him will be the Hex. So
This is the Brawl show.
Yeah, the Manta won't even save you any longer once that is up.
They just death ball into this tower. Mumiana, they're trying to pop his borrowed time, but it's not going to work. They get the tower back.
They take the tier 3 now. The shrines are open. You can go take that out. They instantly go towards the bottom shrine. Not as important as the top one, as it doesn't really it doesn't really help around Rosh pit fights, but it does help with this tier 2 on the bottom lane.
They're fine for now, though. They just want the runes, right? They're like, okay, shrines would be nice, but what's the importance right now? We've taken Rosh. There's no risk of that anytime soon. Wait for MB, then go again, because that's when you have the Blood Rage, Bloodlust combo that we have seen completely obliterate members of Vici. Definitely the bane to their existence. And if you are Vici, what are you looking towards here? Because I feel like a disarm would be a godsend if you could get it on one of your heroes.
A disarm for this TA would be really good. Some sort of a halberd. That's also one issue that they've got on this team, right?
They don't have a good builder, right?
They don't have a utility builder at all. That's why I was expecting SF to go for such a build. Some Greaves, you know, something that will keep them strong in the mid game. And they did have a decent mid game phase. However, later on, you have no saves for this Morphling. It's also an issue of having a position for Rubik, right? He wants to build for himself. He doesn't really build those utility items, Lotuses, Glimmers. Even though you can, usually on position 4 you see these Blink Hules, Aetherlands, maybe Agnims after.
But yeah, in this type of game, they've been so fixated on Yules, 4-staffs, ways to dodge and out these fights. They have no way of just diving deeper into them.
But you have many ways of stealing enemies' spells, right?
This is true.
Have Rubik, you have Morphling.
Let's be honest though, Morphlings only ever turn into Shaker.
Yeah. But if you do realize that their skill set is stronger than yours, just become them.
You mean like Melbash?
Yeah.
Oh, actually no, you don't get it, right?
You don't get it.
If you did, nah, I think he stays Shaker.
Brawl now, not only does he have the Melt Bash, he brings so much control. I mean, he doesn't have it yet, but soon. He brings so much control to the fights. He has Hex, he has Orchid. Perhaps a Bloodthorn will be his next pickup too. And this Morphling, he's not in a good place anymore. He's not that invincible Morph that turns into a Shaker and blows you up with one Totem Strike.
This is a story about how Brawl's gaming sense got turned upside down. He went from supporting MV to MV supporting him. And he's definitely delivering so far in this game. They'll clean up the shrine. And you can already see the pings coming out. Vici say, we play on this side of the map. Okay, right side is ours. At least make sure they can't assault every lane. Just buy more time. The good news for them is that Brawl, he's slow to this level 25 because they keep patrolling his 4 or 5 heroes. The bad news is that pandas are knocking on your doors again.
Yeah.
Fissure trying to actually stop him getting reinforcements. Still has a minute left on the Aegis though, Brawl. Getting pretty low. The Fissure stun, the second one coming out. 4-staff in the wrong direction. Won't get him out. Aegis has been expended. Now Rupture is out there on the Shadow Fiend with the silence there as well. Since the gates, Brawl will turn around. Hex coming out, trying to jump in. Echo Slam, looking good. Xiaoyu jumps in. Man of the moment. Envy down to half HP. The BKB won't protect him. Ori hits much harder. He needs to run away. Yules interrupts the TP out by Moon Meander. They eat the cheese to keep him healthy for the moment, but Bloodseeker's in trouble. Xiaoyu is stunned up. In the meantime, Lift lasts long enough. They can turn around after killing off Staking. They can follow up onto Envy. And the Stolen Blood Right, not even needed.
Triple kill for Morphling. But that's pure... let's see if they can
Shaker
kill,
again.
Let's just see if they can kill Moon on the bottom lane. They are chasing him.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
He's got borrowed time again.
Has Yules too.
He's like, I'm not giving this gem up. Leave me alone.
He dropped the gem actually to...
Oh, wow.
Try and juke it.
They see it though. They know.
They
Not this time.
Let's see. Can he suicide maybe?
No. The gem's on the ground again.
He did buy quite a lot of time for this TA that does not have a buyback. It's been 120 seconds when Brawl died. Now it's 60, so that's a bit better for... that's consolation prize, I guess, for fighting pandas. But man, Vici Gaming just outplayed the living hell out of them on that high ground defense. It's not about advantage. They didn't have gold advantage. They didn't have net worth advantage. They just played that defense very well. It doesn't matter how many items you've got. If you get stunned, if you get chain stunned, you're dead. Especially if you have no save. And I believe Braille had 2 opportunities to blink out of the base, but he just wanted to stay in.
He had BKB as well. There are options.
Thinking that he will be able to just use that BKB pop it once he respawns, but...
This is kind of, it's felt like the name of the game. Pandas, it almost feels like they're disrespecting the Shaker pick, like they're not acknowledging that this is their Achilles heel. Every time they fight, these Echo Slams are destroying them. With the exception of maybe, one, where the SF was nowhere nearby. But you've got to respect the SF as well. You know, he switched to right-click. He got his damage per soul. He hits like a goddamn truck.
Yeah, this SF is definitely getting their level 25 as well. -5 presence or armor. Going towards that, what is it, Satanic? Butterfly Satanic AC definitely does hit hard.
However, he doesn't have buyback as a result. So, you know, this is the thing you have to look at the stage in the game. Xiao Yu, he has at least got buyback, and if there's one thing we can say, that feels like the most important one for them still.
Yeah, you need the buyback on TA too. And you need to let Brawl hit his 25. Like, how long has been 24 for?
It feels like an eternity.
He's not been getting his levels at all as they're running as 5, but the problem is 40-minute mark hits and you pretty much have to run as 5. You can't give them the opportunity to have some pick-off into high ground push.
I was about to say, give him a tome, and there it is. Most important thing is that Mel bash. It is one of those talents that completely changes a game.
Ori just sitting up front, protected by his teammates that are lurking on the other side of the river.
Hey guys, how you doing? Look over. Oh, they tried to trap him in the double fissure. Create a little pin.
Yeah. Fissure sandwich would have been interesting to see.
Just sticking Moon in a cage, basically. So Eurus, in the meantime, will move bot to take that shrine. They'd already taken the top one, so Pandas, you can see their priority positioning are near to the Roche pit because it could spawn in 15 seconds. And they've got a trap down, so they'll know exactly when. Again,
Two fissures.
They tried to get him in a V shape.
In a V, yeah.
That was an ice cream cone.
Yeah. Abaddon ice cream flavor. Doesn't sound
Moon
very
flavor.
tasty.
Moon flavor sounds good.
Sounds like drugs.
I feel like he's on acid when he's trapped in there. They move in. Smoke, jump, snaking the target, going straight onto him here, trying to bring him down. Sinister Gaze as well. He doesn't have buyback either. He's going to go down. Baden couldn't save his life. Now Brawl chasing in. Hex is going to come out, but Lich is protected. We have to move away the Glimmer Cape. Now Chain Frost bouncing around a little bit. Envy has to activate the BKB. Look to fight. Stun's coming out. Shadow Fiend down to half HP, but Envy, he's taking way too much damage here. He's going to go down. He has to buy back straight away. Brawl running away with his BKB, not fighting with it as Eurus has his own BKB. Echo Slam, Xiao Yu follow up. Moon Meander blocked off from the escape. The follow-up stuns are coming out as well, but they're silenced up. They have to back away. Respect that is a fountain and you can't dive it. Xiao Yu gets away with that Glimmer Cape. Has done so much work in this fight so far, and if you let them leave the base without getting anything in return, Pandas feel like this is a complete loss. But how do you get in? You have no BKB on Brawl for 40 seconds. Roche is now spawning. Vici could not have it better.
They move back, and also tier 2 on the top lane is still standing. Actually, Vici Gaming, they did play that really well. They did get a couple of crucial pickoffs, forced a buyback from Eternal Envy, but they're showing some different approaches to the way the game should be played comes 43-45 minute mark. You expect them to at least take that tier 2, right, and pressure an objective. No, instead they go get a couple of pickoffs on their high ground, on the enemy high ground, into the Roshan pit.
And now they're not even going to Roche. They realize Pandas are going to want to fight. We don't have an Echo Slam anymore.
It's not good. It's not good to just wait for them in the pit unless you have a really good Roshan team fighting team.
Oh my god. Are they going to get away with this? They might. There's going to be an axe as well. The fissure. Sun's on the 4. The follow-up fissure as well. They're moving in. This could be the bomb they're looking for. They jump in. Aegis Brawl managed to pick it up in time. Envy's still alive for the moment. Eats the cheese. Fighting up against it. The disarm comes out to make sure that SF can't fight. The stuns on both sides. Looking towards Ogre first. He should be going down, but moves away. Buys a little bit of time. Aegis has been expended. Moon Meander runs away. Who's Brawl? I don't know. None of us know him. He's not part of our team. He has buyback, though. He can still be in this game. However, Moon, he doesn't. There is your entrance. 3 dead on the side of Pandas. Only 2 of them have buyback. Vici know this as well because cooldown is still 2.5 minutes until Abaddon should have buyback.
Maybe you can take a team fight without Eternal Envy, without Bloodseeker, but without Abaddon it's going to be very difficult. TA does have the buyback, so they can defend the high ground push though. And there we go. Buyback AUI, buyback on TA as well.
On Ori. Aggressing forward, has all that stats resistance. No BKB for 20 seconds. He could be the kill. 4-stuff. Hex coming out as well. They need to jump on him, but they're too scared. There's a lot of stun control from the double shaker. Snaking with a BKB. He's not even putting a dent in this target right now. Has to back up. Rupture coming out, scaring them away here. Split off the mark. The stolen Rupture on Envy. He's dying too fast. Ori holds his ground. Jump hit by Xiao Yu. He's gone. Die back indeed. And now it is all on Bryle, who is running for the high hills as he got hit up by the Rupture as well, courtesy the Axon Rubik. And GG gets called. They know they can't hold this. Vici Gaming cruise through, taking the first game. And Pandas, it had its shining moments, Liz, but in the end, we see it time and time again. When you're relegated to a one-carry lineup, there's no competition.
And we had just a really bad time in the mid game, and that's surprising because as a Bloodseeker in the mid game is where you're supposed to shine, and he did pretty well in the early game, right, in the laning stage. However, didn't get that BKB on time, was trying to go for the Radiance, didn't really help him, and I believe it was 0-4 his score. And then he turns into the BKB build. Gets the BKB, but a bit too late. Bryle still had a really good time on the TA. Even though he was out CS'd by Ori on the mid lane, he did find his farm. And they did find Eurus. They found his pickoffs on Morphling. However, that high ground defense from Vici Gaming was just marvelous. They took down Bryle twice, and from then on, they took control of the game again.
I'm sorry, I clicked on Bloodseeker to look at his build, and you know how it sometimes bugs out and you have to drag it to the end? I done it and then realized that was actually his final items.
I look at his score, 0-9-12 as a Bloodseeker, as your position 1 Bloodseeker.
He almost had less net worth than Snaking.
Yeah.
And you know, this isn't us being harsh to him, it's just what happened in this game is, I think there was these kind of weird over-aggression. Do you feel like the big kind of pivot point where Pandas could have just steamed through this and won the game was when they took the first Roche, and instead of putting on Bryle, who was going to be jumping in, they gave the Aegis to Envy?
I mean, it's not about who gets the Aegis, it's about how they fight after that.
And they kept initiating with Bryle, right?
They kept on initiating and taking these fights, which allowed Vici Gaming to set up properly and react. If you remember, first Aegis, they run through the ward and behind the tier 2, and they get echoed. Second Aegis plus Cheese, they don't get a pick off, they instantly go on high ground. Bryle is isolated, fissured, blocked from everyone else, and they take him down twice, and from then on they clean up. Vici Gaming, even though I really believe Fighting Pandas were in control of this game, they just find a way to claw back in. They find a way to outplay Fighting Pandas in team fights. Maybe it's because Fighting Pandas were indisciplined enough to get some pick-offs first. Maybe it's just because they are a little bit better, more compact as a team, more experienced.
A lot of credit to Xiao Yu as well, keeping his team in that game. Those Echo Slams are crucial, because if those don't come in when they do, you just get the feeling that Panda's going to be on your high ground, 25, 30-minute mark. You're not going to get to the 45-minute mark where you're sitting with a score of 15-40. And Vici, I mean, if someone came in halfway through this, they would have just thought that Pandas had done nothing, that Vici were gods. And they were in the end, but hard fought for them to get to there, and that just makes them all the more godly. And we're going to see more godhood, hopefully, on both sides, okay? Because these are best of 2, so there's going to be one more game between Vici Gaming and Panda S. Short break, then we'll be back with that to see if the score can even up, or if Vici Gaming are just going to cruise to a 2-0.
Step lively now. Your Admiral is on board.
To be brilliant is to defy convention and challenge expectations. So Intel will bring the processing power for when it's time to go brilliant. Frame rates that keep up with your reflexes. Brilliant. Fast clock speeds for when you're on the clock. Brilliant. It's what we do at Intel, powering you to master your potential. Will you rise? Intel. Unleash your brilliance.
Remember where it started. Your first experiences. The journey you traveled. The journey you love. Remember where it started and imagine where it will go. Rise on.
It's grand final time. Watch it live. The Vodafone 5G ESL Mobile Open. Tune in on the 28th and 29th of September.
So this is it. This is where it all started. The great business of DHL.
You remember when we still use these?
We have all come a long way since then.
Hey, Effie, my little buddy. We got a special job for you. And this is only the beginning.
To be brilliant is to defy convention and challenge expectations. So Intel will bring the processing power for when it's time to go. Brilliant. Frame rates that keep up with your reflexes. Brilliant. Fast clock speeds for when you're on the clock. Brilliant. It's what we do at Intel, powering you to master your potential. Will you rise? Intel. Unleash your brilliance.
Remember where it started. Your first experiences. The journey you traveled. The journey you love. Remember where it started. And imagine where it will go. Rise on.
So this is it. This is where it all started. The great business of DHL.
You remember when we still use these?
We have all come a long way since then.
Hey, Effie, my little buddy. I got a special job for you. And this is only the beginning.
ESL One Hamburg is brought to you in part by Intel, Mercedes-Benz, Vodafone, DHL, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, Asus Republic of Gamers, Pay Safeguard, and Euronics.
With more shaking than you see at an over 60 Zumba class full of old ladies, it's no surprise that fighting pandas could not hold the ground against the double shaker. But it's only one game, Liz. Surely we will see lessons learned this time. Do you feel it's just the combo that was the biggest problem? Shaker plus Morphling?
No.
No?
I actually don't. I think fighting Panda S, they definitely did face that Shaker plus Morphling combo with a lot of confidence. That they had everything they needed to answer it at one point. They did take first rush and the second rush with Aegis. However, once they were supposed to push high ground and capitalize on their advantage, they failed to do so, and Vici Gaming managed to outplay them here and there in these crucial team fights. So I think they just have to rethink their strategy when it comes to taking these crucial high ground objectives.
No, most definitely. I think the way we could say it came down to the execution a bit. I think we mentioned at the end of the last game, it seemed like there was confusion on who should be initiating for a start, right? And then there was that critical moment where they went before Bral even had his blink dagger, which was a bit of an abnormality. But you shake that off. That happens once, it doesn't happen again. And they fixed it by giving the Aegis to the right target that time around, but it already felt like the gap was closing because then they just didn't respect the Shaker, 3 fights in a row?
It's that high ground fight when they had Aegis and Cheese, when Bral dies twice in a row is where it was pretty much game over for them. They still had some chances, they still had some options, they did get another Aegis, but you were playing versus a team that you were pretty much crushing at that point, and you failed to take a major objective and you got wiped. What's going to happen when that team actually has an advantage and does well? That's the problem.
So what do you think the plan is? Do you feel like you empower Bral again? Because he did deliver, in fairness to him.
You empower Bral, but you also make Envy capable of doing anything in the game. Because
anything?
And I mean, he did have some crucial ruptures here and there that allowed them to kill the Morphling, that allowed them to kill the SF. But overall, it's your position 1 and he's 0-9.
This is a fair point. But it's Bloodseeker, right? Like, what do you think would be an easier shout? Do you think you just fall back to something simple like the gyro?
I think Bloodseeker is very simple. That's the problem.
I was trying to give him a chance here.
How more simple can you get? He literally has
Wraith King.
Okay, Wraith King.
All right, there's the plan. Pick Wraith King. And we're going to find out if they can do that because we do have a draft underway. 2 bans already showing. Night Stalker by Vici. We saw from TNC why you should definitely get rid of that hero. And then the other side, Pandas, I guess they're not that interested in a buff you up lineup again.
Yeah, that Night Stalker definitely does look very strong. We've seen it yesterday, played by TNC, and they destroyed with that Night Stalker. However, they were losing for the first 5 minutes. It didn't go great.
What, Liz, was it 5 minutes?
Okay, it was more like 15 minutes. They were
20
being
minutes?
15 minutes, they were getting crushed. But once you get that Aghanim on Night Stalker and your OD comes online, Armel, you just destroy everyone. So, Night Stalker, we got a demonstration of how powerful this hero can be, so it's good to ban it out if you aren't planning on rolling that strategy. Fighting Panda S, they get rid of that Magnus, just like you said, they aren't thinking about empowering Envy like they did yesterday.
And there's the shake. It breaks my heart, Liz. You know I love to see this hero. But in fairness, Xiao Yu made this ban worthy last game.
Definitely. It's not only that he made it worthy, it's also that he got his second shaker, twin brother, showing up in that game and doing just as much work, if not even more.
Yeah,
that was
you had Earth
Euros.
Shaker and Murph Shaker.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should there should actually be custom names for all the Morphling shifts. So
There is,
he should
right?
become Max,
Max, sounds good.
Momni Knight,
Momni Knight, Meepo.
Meepo.
Meepo. All right. Omni Knight also banned out. There we go. Some more of these heroes that bring a lot of sustain are removed from the equation.
I think
Perhaps something
Omni opens up like just almost cheese lineups as well, right? Like we saw how powerful it was in TNC's hands yesterday, and it's if you get someone like Leshrac or OD, these unkillable heroes that just dominate the fights in the early 20 minutes.
Yep, heroes like Omni Knight definitely do that. You have Heavenly Grace, and something very similar is Abaddon, right? If you get the Abaddon in there, you have the Aphotic Shield, you have your ulti. We did see Abaddon in that last game, and Moon Meander, man, he did so much for fighting Pandas. He pretty much allowed them to have that mid-game advantage because they could not go through Moon Meander fast enough, and if you don't take him out, he just saves his allies. Once he died on that fight around the dire base.
Yeah, the mid lane, where he was too far away from
Exactly, he was just manning up all alone for some reason, forgot to go back, I suppose. They killed him off, and if he falls at the beginning of the fight, everything shatters. So maybe that Abaddon is a good ban. Perhaps a Void too, that's still in the pool. Shadow Demon.
Yeah, Void, Legion, all these kind of typical picks are left open because the Night Stalker is out of the equation as well.
Yeah, Abaddon, the one that we talked the most about, is banned out, but Kunkka snatched by Fighting Pandas, and we saw Vici Gaming and just how much they can do with this Kunkka yesterday.
As a 4 as well.
Yeah, let's see how much Fighting Pandas can do. And look at this. I love this and I hate this at the same time from Vici Gaming. Void is definitely... This hero has proven to be one of the strongest carries in the current patch, like at least right now. People haven't figured him out. Shadow Demon is one of the ways to deal with the Void, right? As you can use that disruption.
Yes. It just feels like they're protecting their draft by picking a counter to it.
At the same time, it's decent versus Kunkka because you can mess up his combo, but Kunkka, historically, has been considered a counter to Void, a little bit at least. You have that X marks the spot so he can Void walk away, and also you have Rum in the Chronosphere, so we'll see just how well Vici Gaming will be able to execute this Void strategy versus a Kunkka.
Probably MV also just talking the draft, saying, owie, I almost died when I chronoed a Leshrac. So if we pick the Leshrac, there's no chance that they chrono us early on. And they do ban out the Mirana, makes sense. If you're worried about Vici just rolling over you, because they're playing confidence right now, and they're getting all these meta picks, the worst thing you could do if you're Pandas is let them get Shadow Demon, Mirana, Void.
Yeah, definitely. Shadow Demon plus Mirana, we saw that yesterday. We saw that combination played by Alliance, I believe, and they just crushed with it. So Vici Gaming, so Fighting Pandas actually just gets rid of Mirana, so Vici do not have that chance, do not have that opportunity to pick her up.
And they do actually ban out the Lycan in response. This feels like one of those stealthy picks that catch you by surprise. When we do see it, it tends to just barrel out of control, I want to say.
The problem with, right now, if you look at Vici Gaming, they already have one big cooldown, right, with that Chronosphere from Faceless Void. And Lycan just steps up the tempo so much, so hard that by the time you have items on Void and you're ready to fight, you've already lost all objectives to a Lycan. So also Fighting Panda, as they love to play that hero, and it's a good thing that Vici Gaming have banned it out. together with the gyrocopter. They're getting rid of these big carries that Envy might play.
Yeah, especially like the Lycan it was kind of become the cheese pick for high-ranked pub games for a while, right? Like you just ran it down mid, you rushed an Ags with your Helmet Dominator, and you took the base by like 20-25.
It's crazy, like Necros, Dominator, Ags, and suddenly it's not only that you're taking the base and that you're pushing everything in, it's like you play like a tinker, no matter how weird that sounds, and you just split push, and you get so much gold out of that Ags. It's pretty good.
There's a beautiful irony, right? One is his whole focus on his build is boots. The other one doesn't build boots at all.
Legion Commander banned out by Fighting Pandas, so we lost pretty much all of our big sustain offlaners. Abaddon, Omni Knight, Legion Commander are out.
And what does that really leave for you? Maybe you go for something a little bit less in the meta, falling off a little bit like Sand King could work really well for Vici. Although there's always that run buff. I always concern myself, right? Because you think about how long it takes to do all the damage from the Epicenter and the Sandstorm.
Yep.
It should be easy for Pandas to run away. So you need like an insta-kill combo, right?
Like something with low cooldown, stun on offlane isn't bad. So Sand King does come to my mind too. We'll see if Vici Gaming. They go with Alina first. A hero that's strong versus Lash. Also a hero that has a good follow-up with Shadow Demon. Oh my god.
Wow, they're going
fast.
We're getting the clockwork.
Oh.
This might be another Ori Shadow Fiend at this rate.
It was Vici Gaming that banned out this clockwork in that last game, right?
Yes.
And now they pick it up. They definitely value the hero a lot. And if you look at Fighting Pandas, you have Leshrac, you have Silencer. Clockwork is quite decent versus these heroes. You can, if it's a support Silencer, you can pretty much pick him off on your own. Same can be said for Leshrac.
All right. We're just hearing from production. We're going to finish off the draft, then there'll be a quick restart on the stream to resolve some tech issues. So don't worry when the stream does go down. We're not just saying that one team wins on the draft alone. Who do you feel like win this so far? Like, I know it's a bit unfair because Vici's showing 4 and there's only 3 for Pandas.
4 versus 3 is usually favored.
But
for the people that have 4 heroes.
What Panda have as their 4th pick is possibility. So they win, right?
Opportunity, possibility, chance for a better future.
There you go.
Let's see what Fighting Pandas will pick up, and then I'll answer that. Right now, I definitely do like Vici Gaming's lineup quite a lot. There's synergy between their heroes. Lina played on that position 4 with Clockwork should prove to be almost impossible for Silencer to deal with, unless he gets a really good carry paired with him. Something that doesn't suffer from cogs would probably be your best bet if you're fighting Pandas right now. PL is still in the pool. Something like a Jug, Nikes, also options. Problematic versus Shadow Demon and Void, though.
Maybe CK? It's not bad against the Void, right? You drag him in, stun him, insta-kill him.
And you're very tanky, but you're playing versus a Shadow Demon who just cuts your HP no matter what. But
burns all your illusion army as well.
CK is all right.
I think you're right. I think like once Shadow, I expect Shadow Demon to get nerfed. I don't know about you, but I feel like after that happens, Chaos Knight's pick rate is just going to increase.
I think the second spell of Shadow Demon might suffer some nerfs. The Soul Catcher.
It's just too good. It's pure damage, and I always call it the better Spirit Vessel, right? Like, it achieves the same goal that you're looking for with Spirit Vessel most of the time.
Wait. You say everything is a better Spirit Vessel.
No, I don't.
Ancient Apparition for you is the
better.
It's a worse Spirit.
No, I say it's a worse Spirit Vessel.
And Shadow Demon is the better.
Yes.
Right, I see.
It's quite the conundrum, isn't it?
Let's see, they go for the Tiny. All right, I really like the Tiny pick. I love it, actually, as it allows them to be very mobile, very active in the mid game. Position 4 or mid Tiny looks pretty solid here. And the Clockwork can't really deal with you, as if he cogs you in, you just toss him away.
Oh, Vici doing Envy a favor.
Vici Gaming is like, listen, Fighting Pandas, we do not want that 0-9 Bloodseeker running at us anymore.
This is not a former TI player. We need to see more. We're going to force Envy to do something a bit different.
I mean, he did contribute to his team quite a lot in that last match with Bloodseeker, and he had a bad game, and they almost had it. With him having a really bad game. Imagine what could happen if he actually has a good start with the Bloodseeker. So,
especially with these heroes, right? Like, think about Kunkka, big cleave with Blood Rage late game, and Tiny with his Aghanim Scepter with Blood Rage.
Yeah.
So it's a respectful ban. What will be the response? Panda are running out of time this. But they've got the next pick, so they've already got it all figured out. So the Timber Band's going to be thrown out. And to round it out...
Spectre.
Okay.
Another hero that doesn't really care too much about cogs, obviously, as you can pass right over them, but is susceptible to a lot of harass from Lina and Clock. Let's say Lina and Clock are on the offlane. Spectre and Silencer, they can win it, but it's going to be very difficult for them. Maybe some tri-lane could help out, and Vici Gaming, let's see what they last pick here.
Maybe do some like cheese strat plans with the Tiny, right, where you just keep tossing on a tower, tossing on the tower, milk them like that.
The problem that they have is Vici Gaming do not know who's mid, right? Kunkka, Lash, or Tiny. Which one of these three heroes are mid? Silencer is most, I mean...
Well, Silencer could as well, yeah.
But even Silencer could be there.
Now, you never know. Maybe return to the days of Spectre mid. It's been, what, 3 or 4 years? Used to be done a few times for the Radiance rushes.
Dazzle.
Okay,
right,
up on
like,
the tempo.
Yeah, they're like